Now you may.
It is October 14th, 2025, and it is 5:31. I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Troy Public Library to order. Do we have any public comment at this time? We have no public comments. If someone would like to be the timekeeper today? We've been doing pretty well with staying on target, but I can't see the agenda.
I can do it.
You got it? Okay.
Well, I don't have the agenda.
Okay, here, right here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. And. I should be looking at these.
You can have it on.
Okay. So the first thing, treasurer's report. We'll go to the treasurer's report. Marie?
Okay, the committee approved payment of the bills. So I would like to make the motion that the board consider payment of the bills in the amount of $80,289.43.
Second. Any discussion, any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
So then we'll move on to the consent agenda. So we're going to remove the admin committee report from the consent agenda. Is there anything else that anybody needs removed from the consent agenda? I make a motion to approve the consent agenda with removal of the admin meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion about any of the reports? All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, well then we move right on to the friends. Of the,
Picking them on already?
yep, put you right at the top.
Because I don't know everybody. I'm Fran Merzen. I'm the president of the Friends of the Troy Public Library. And I have 5 minutes, and I was going to, with your permission, share some reflections about the vote. Because the mission of the Friends is to support the library, and we do so by raising money, but by supporting policies and programs that exist for the library. And for sure, the library budget vote has always been something that we get involved with. But this year, as all of you would realize, we were involved lots more. And so, but the wonderful thing about when I look back at, it seems like ancient history. It's a month ago. It really does seem like ancient history. But during that time, there was the engagement of a lot of people. And I think one of the reasons that the budget vote was successful was because a series of groups were involved in different ways than have been before. And each of those groups, in some ways, took a different tactic. You know, the goal was to pass the budget. The library couldn't advocate for passing the budget. They could advocate for people voting. We, as the Friends, were in the unique position of being able to advocate for the budget. And we started real early in August, when the first notice of the public sessions came out. And at that time, you know, we were encouraging people to vote. But as the time went on over the period of the vote, our voice became in some ways clearer in terms of what we were advocating for. And so the first message was to support sustaining both Maine and Lansingburg, the services and programs at both Maine and then when the messages from the library became clear that if the budget failed, Lansingburg was going to close. And because in some ways we had a large stake in sustaining Lansingburg, because after the flood, a lot of the uh, fundraising that we did over the next 2 years was to bring the children's room back to Lansingburg. And so the number of supporters that we got, both monetary and other supporters, were tied to Lansingburg and the fact that Lansingburg was going to continue. But in addition to the Friends, and so the message right before this is the last something I'll say about us, but the message right before the vote was we suggested we wrote a message that people could cut and paste, and then suggested that they send it to their friends and their own networks. And at that point, other groups came on, and I knew it was working because I would see the words, I would see the work. The other big mover in this was the union. So this was the first year that the library workers were unionized, and Tim got in touch with national people and local people who worked on library campaigns and put them in touch with us as well. So we knew what they were doing, and they knew what we were doing, and what they chose to do based on the maps that we were able to do from the last vote was to do house-to-house kinds of things in the pouring rain. It was that day of rain. And so they got as far as they could and then sent postcards to people. And so people would tell us that they got postcards. The other role was the role that the board members, you guys, played too. So that when there was a newspaper article, and when negative information started to bubble up, the word is fester. A number of you, including Maria, were able to take the negative information and translate and essentially say why it was wrong, why it was a misrepresentation of it, which was very, very helpful, because the stuff that came from the library, the stuff that Tim created, in lots of ways was really good, but it was very dense. I mean, one of the things that came out was all the services of the library, which was extraordinary. It's an extraordinary list that appeared on Facebook and Instagram. The other was facts about the library, like who uses the library. I never knew that, half the population has a library card, which is, I could say to people, if they say to me, nobody uses the library, half the population. They may all be kids, but it doesn't matter. Yes, they're kids. That's great that it's kids. So it was the library board, the union, the Friends, and we could see on our Facebook and Instagram other community organizations that would share our stuff with us, would take our stuff and share it. So I thought that was really, really terrific. And the other thing that was very helpful personally to me were the bookmarks. We decided that we wouldn't table at the farmer's market because 3/4 of the people who come to the farmer's market are not Trojans. But a bunch of us, including board members, carry these bookmarks with them. And so you could say to people, do you know that there's a library vote? And they say, oh, yeah, when is it? That's the big question. When is it? When is it going to be? And you could say, it's going to be September 16th, and here's a reminder. And people took them, they took them because they needed the reminder when the vote was. It's very unusual, except for school districts, to have a public, not a public agency have a public vote on their budget. I mean, this is such a weird thing. And so it takes a lot of, I think it takes different strategies and different tactics. And for sure, my takeaway, it takes the cooperation of a lot of different people. The other thing that helped were these guys, you too, Evelyn, but bringing in new friends and family to the vote, because people would talk about being on the line, particularly here in Maine, and listening to the conversations and saying, you know, I'm going because I support these candidates. So friends and family was another big group, and it's always been the case, but when you have younger candidates, you bring in a whole different population of people. And I was here briefly, and it was clear that people coming to the library had never been in a library. And they, oh, it's upstairs. Oh, how do I get upstairs? Also,
One name.
Yeah.
You have one name.
oh, what? Okay, that's it.
You
Oh,
you have a
well,
hundred.
no, no,
you
no.
have one
What's
more ready to
happening
go.
first? What's happening first is we're having a pop-up at the farmer's market on Saturday. And what that happens there is the donations that come to the library, they're sorted by the staff, that's taken from the collection. The rest comes to the friends. We take the pick of the crop to the farmer's market, and we do not price the books. People pay what they wish because they're giving the money to the library. And so that's coming up on Saturday. I was worried about this one on Saturday because there's a lot of the anti-King demonstrations going on Saturday, but the pop-up is from 9 to 2. The anti-King in Albany is at noon, and the one in Troy is at 3. So people will be able to come to the farmer's market and do all those things. And thank you. I Love the Library is November 17th at Market Block Books. The library will have books that they want to add to the collection available for sale. And 20% of the sales of Market Block Books on that day will go to the library. Last year, Market Block Books grossed $8,000 in the course of that day. And the books that are chosen by the staff for sale that day, that don't get bought by customers of Market Block Books, the friends buy. So all the books that are chosen eventually get collected.
That is your 10 minutes.
Perfect. I'm thinking, I never thought so.
We appreciate that.
Are we
So,
allowed to ask questions?
does anyone have any questions? We'll move on to Carol Roberts, the head of youth services here at the Troy Public Library. Will give us a little update on summer reading.
Yeah, so I was in a panic, back when I learned that we weren't gonna have a program room upstairs because we do so much here in the library in the summer. And, so I was dreading it and thinking, well, we'll think of something, And lo and behold, we were able to partner with the YWCA here on First Street. And that made a huge, huge difference. That allowed us to have programs downtown. So we didn't lose those folks. And then also, we partnered with St. John's Episcopal Church, which is around the corner, a couple blocks down, and we held some programs there. And one of our goals was, of course, to expand our community partnerships and strengthen the ones we have. So that kind of dovetailed nicely. And then, but what made it hard was Lansingburg was really short-staffed. And so normally what happens is the staff there will be in the room with, during a library program, you have to have, with the kids at least, you have to have a staff member there. But they didn't have the staff, so that meant that we were having to go down every time we had a program down there. So somebody would have to leave here to go there, and then we're trying to cover the room. And it's just between that and the HVAC and the weather, even though we were closed most of July in this building, we had only 25% less participation in our summer reading program, which is amazing to me. And so I believe the reason though that we did that was because I have a really great team, Maggie, Helenek and Sarah Bailey, we put our heads together and, you know, we recruited at every event and we made it fun. We got together and got raffle baskets. We come out where people could see them. Kids are really excited. And I was doing an outreach event last week and I had a mom come up to me and tell me how excited her son was. And he had actually won one of the raffle baskets, but she told me how much, you know, he just savored every ticket he got, every program he came to, he got an extra raffle ticket. And she said, and I had such a hard time getting him to read, but he was incentivized and he could see the progression. And so she said, I don't know where we would be without the library. So that was really wonderful to hear from people. And I've also had people come up and say, you know, congratulations on the vote. And we're big library supporters. So that made me feel really good. So, yeah, the only other thing I wanted to say was just that the YWCA has been such a great partner to us. They're wonderful to work with. Jamie and Star, we just got the alcove painted. I've got all the equipment to put together a sensory space there for kids or adults that are in the building. You know, if they're at a program because they do other programs there. So I'm excited about that. So. Yeah, I mean, necessity is the mother of invention.
The little toilets are still there.
The little toilets are still there and yes.
That was my only request.
Oh, yes. Well, I made the mistake of during the story time, I forgot about the sink in the back of the room. So the 2-year-olds discovered story time has a water. And so, yes, yeah, but I took care of that promptly, but yeah, it's been great there. So I just wanted to share that with you all. So.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Have any questions for Karen?
No, I would just say, I'd like to come just to say this is really good feedback and good to hear. Especially about the partnership piece, just because I wasn't totally sure how, like, it seemed like it was going well, but it's great to hear directly from
No, it's
you all. How wonderful time.
It's been wonderful and you know, we love being there. It's great.
How have like families or young people kind of reacted to or responded to the fact that there's like programming over there?
I'm really surprised because my storytime numbers are about the same as they were here. And so that really surprised me. And actually this summer, our attendance was really good at our programs too. So, you know, I can only think that, you know, it's, you know, a credit to my team getting the word out, you know. And so, but I've been known to, you know, run up to people with kids on the street and say, hey, did you know? You know, we have this program and that program. And also every year now for summer reading, we have a contest just in my department. And so a prize for whoever signs up the most kids. So, but that really seems to be working. So we'll keep that going.
Does the child have to be in the library card?
They just have to be born. So if they want my card, for my card, they need to be 5 at least. But I would always encourage, you know, parents to get their kid a regular library card because the books are unlimited. So I love being able to say to people when they say, how many books can we take out? And I get to say, as many as you want.
I remember the program 1,000 books before kindergarten. Is that still on there?
Oh, yes, that's wonderful.
It's on my fridge.
Any other questions? Well, thank you very much, Carol, and
Thank
please pass along our thanks to your staff as
Yes,
well.
I will.
Thanks for
Thank
that.
you, thank you, thank you.
So. All right, so the next thing on the agenda is the UHLS Equity Challenge, and it's only the board component of it. We had spoken about this a while ago and it got tabled, I think, because we had so much other things going on. So I just wanted to kind of bring it back around. I thought it was something, I don't think it's something we need to decide here and now. I guess I'm looking for feedback whether we want to pursue it and how we would like to proceed. It does need to be completed by the end of 2026. I think now is a good time to kind of revisit it, looking at going into our long-range planning, that we can keep it as possibly as a component of it. I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. There's 6 tasks involved and we have to complete 4 of them. I don't know whether people had any thoughts, reactions.
I think we've already completed at least a couple of these, so
Yeah.
it feels easy. That one is
Yes.
like mission, our trustee orientation. I think we need to do it purely from the perspective of working ourselves closer to that, right? It just seems like an
Right.
accountability measure. When
Right, yes, we need to be able to document it for Upper Hudson in order to be seen as having completed it.
But,
I mean,
so
yes.
to clarify, what you mean though is it's like an active goal setting within the long range plan, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I agree completely, because there are aspects of this that we could be doing much, much better on.
Yeah, it should be embedded anyway.
Right,
Yes.
yes.
So I guess to proceed, we'll just try to fold it into our long range planning. Is that-
Yeah, and perhaps for the purpose of this part of it, we could unless we want to do it right now, identify which 4. Is my question.
I think we can do all of them. There's nothing in here that we haven't talked about or addressed. It's a question of whether we've formalized it in structure or like have it as a checklist when we go
Right.
through it.
Mhm.
So, for instance, 6, hold an open house or live and recorded virtual meet the trustee information session for prospective trustees. We do that. Market the session to diverse populations. Tell us about how it went. Okay. That last piece of it, my question here would be, how are we defining that and how are we reaching everyone? But we've done a much better job this year of actually reaching out to community, whether it was through outreach to organizations or people or networks or groups, or literally flyering in places that would have never received that. So I just think we have to, personally, I almost look at this like a B Corp status, like we can always do more, but at least let's look at these and incorporate all of them.
Okay.
Do you want that in long-term planning, or is this? Because it feels like a lot of this is all. I'm confused a little bit because it feels like it goes into not nominating, but like the recruitment.
It does.
Like when we did that pop-up committee or ad hoc committee for the trustee recruitment,
Right,
did we just do a quick working group for like a
that's
second?
what, I think that would be a good idea, because I do agree with you that I think it is pretty, obviously because it's board-centered, challenge. That it does say right in it that a lot of it is recruitment. So, I think a working group would be a good way to go, rather than, feel the need to, create a.
Also, there's a couple things, so maybe this is just flagging it for Upper Hudson, but the report on top 5 languages other than English spoken in school district is like wildly outdated. Oh, I see that, 2021. So we should ask them, because I can say just from working in Albany Public Schools, this is definitely outdated. So those numbers have changed quite a bit, and I think
Okay.
Troy would be similar.
Yes.
So do we just ask them to update that?
I think we would actually try to update it ourselves.
Yeah.
Sorry, is this what it links to is our work?
No, it's what.
I think we're just giving you some ideas of where you could get this information.
Yeah, it's saying that have we provided our board updated demographics on our service area, including languages spoken? And so, like you said, those are examples. Some of this feels like it's as simple as doing outreach to, for instance, the school boards.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
or the city.
Yeah,
But yeah,
And then-
I can help with this piece, but I just wasn't sure if they were doing this work or what the deal is, but okay.
I mean, they're linking out at this point to surveys and census, which we already know census is gonna be out of date, right?
Yeah, it's fine, yeah, just, that was something.
Do we have faith in our municipalities planning department and their demographic information?
Mhm.
Okay.
The school board wanted to report out 4 languages. president in the district this year. And maybe they'd be able to give us information about the last couple of years, but they wouldn't make any projection about upcoming.
Hmm,
Right. We could get Lansingburg, we could get Troy, we could get census.
Mhm.
I'd also get the rest of the other service areas, right? Because there must be at least another district technically covered.
Mm,
Or no?
technically, or just Troy. What were you thinking?
Well, what, how's it say?
Troy and the Berg.
Of your service area, I guess that.
Or
we
Troy.
have to- Yeah, our service area technically is
That's our charter.
Troy.
Right. But that's.
But we do.
Yeah, so that's the question, but if we want to be technical about it.
Because it's-
That's not
Until they
gonna-
update that charter.
I think that's something that the working group can explore.
discuss.
Sounds
This
good.
is from a ad hoc committee.
Ad hoc committee would be larger, a working group, formal, with, yes, and with, a working group would be less people, it could be less than four. So could make any decisions.
And a working group to me just feels like email.
Right.
Yeah, on a doc, maybe.
Yeah.
Like a shared doc and email that gets presented at the board meeting. So with the working group presented then to board next time.
Yes.
Okay. That sounds good.
In your spare time.
So who would like to work on, be in the working group?
I will definitely help with
I would
this.
want to.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, wait, can I? I've never-
Yeah, we got a month.
Will we, okay, will this be working in this? Okay, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Can y'all do it in the next, I mean, these aren't, I feel like you can get that.
yeah.
posted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can start it in the next.
So, I'm sorry, so Cecilia, Ashley. Right. No. Okay.
But you said for the sake of Upper Hudson, we have until the end of next.
2026,
2026.
right, to submit this, yes. Uh-oh,
I didn't touch
Is
anything.
that just a reminder?
Did someone join in?
It might have just been an internet.
I think the internet might have jumped. But no, there's nobody here other than.
Any further discussion? So move on. Next on the agenda is the meeting calendar for the board. It should be in your packet. What's on it is. I think that's where you might.
I think it was before the recruitment.
Yeah.
After the president's report.
Page 39.
The agenda item also links to it.
All right. Oh, okay, so on there, and we will. I'm going to remove the finance committee from the. Meeting schedule because in speaking with. The finance committee. In the earlier meeting, we talked about the possibility of it being changed to another time and date based on people's availability. So this meeting schedule really is just for the Board of Trustees meetings, which will remain the second Tuesday of the month at 5:30. The standing committee schedule will be determined once the members of the committees are decided upon. As well as the chair. So this is just something I'm gonna also, well, I guess we can go through and we can approve this. So I make a motion to approve the 2026 Board of Trustee meeting schedule only. Right,
I'll second.
all those, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
And then
Motion passes.
Will you request the same from those committees later once they're finalized? Ahead of 2026, do you want meeting schedules for all the other committees too?
It'd be great if they could, you know, the more we can schedule the meeting, the easier it is for everybody. But, so this is something else that, in speaking with some of the other, boards in the area, and I know we've talked about this, and this may not be very popular, but I'm gonna throw it out there. You know, we have tended to have a lot of people on a lot of committees, and I think that it might be a good idea for us to really look at that and try to have only, you know, 2 to 3 people serve on only 1 or 2 committees rather than on so many committees in order to, for a number of reasons, to be more efficient, to utilize people's skills better, and to just make us more efficient and truthfully to avoid some burnout. So that's my recommendation. I mean, whoever is president starting in November can make that decision because it is up to the president to decide who's on the committees. One of the things that I did work on, and I will send it out, and I thought we would talk about it in the nominating committee, is a survey of your interest in being on a committee, but then also what skills you bring to that committee to try and kind of really, I don't know, just make the work more focused.
Not to make more work for you or anyone really, but if for the benefit of the folks who are new or returning, it might be helpful to have like a description of what each.
it does.
Okay,
Yes, in the survey,
okay.
it has a description of it has a description of the committee, and then it gauges your interest, and then it has for your skills.
Perfect, okay.
And then I figured once those committees are decided upon, then the committee as a whole can decide whether or not, when they want to meet, you know, what it works for them. And then possibly, hopefully, plan out the meetings for the year.
When will that go out? Before or after the nominating committee?
I think I will bring it to the nominating committee meeting, and then it will go out after that.
Okay.
Based on how people feel.
When's
But
when's the nominating committee meeting? When's the first, no, TBD, okay.
No, it is, it's,
Oh, it
it's, the 29th.
Oh, yes,
It's
yeah,
right
yeah, yeah.
after
You
the,
did say that.
Personnel committee.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So that doesn't even, I just wanted to bring it up to people before we get to the nominating committee and people are like, what is this?
As a person who has trouble saying no, I think it's a great idea.
I think it's best practice, truthfully. Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're, you know, right, so we're moving on to the schedule of service for the Troy Public Library. That's next in your packet, and it's basically just a list of the days that we will be closed in 2026.
I was surprised to see Juneteenth on there. It wasn't a holiday this past year, right?
It's a national holiday, or did that get
Yeah, I
revoked?
thought it still was, but.
But
I would say this is an agreement with the union, and it's been negotiated positively between union and the board. So what I would note is thank you to the union for aligning on this before we've gotten through the rest of the contract. So we are in agreement with union and the staff on these dates for 2026. So we have to approve it, but it is,
we have to,
I think,
what
what do you mean?
When you say we, you mean we, the admin committee?
I don't
or
know.
the
It's here,
finance?
so I don't know if
It
it's
has
up
to
for a
be
vote.
approved, yes, it has to
But
be.
it's been
It's
proposed?
not like we have, I don't think she's saying we have to approve
Right.
it, it's like, we have to vote on it.
It's up for tonight.
Yes, yes,
Okay, because it says the Troy Library will be closed on these holidays.
correct.
It sounds like it's a done deal.
I would say the union
Right.
has said that they're in agreement on these dates, and it is recommended by us for a vote for the board.
It is a federal holiday.
So, but
Yeah.
there are other federal holidays that
Mm-hmm.
the library isn't closed. So when will this come up for a vote?
Right here, right now.
Right now, that's why it's on here.
So it's increasing the benefits by adding a paid holiday. That,
Did we take a holiday away?
um, then how is it not increasing it?
I do think it was an increase in the.
Yes, but I don't think it's for, um. I think we need, I would be very nervous without having the contract in front of me to pull that and go, yeah, I don't have it in front of me. There are 11 federal holidays, so I'm comparing all those holidays right now.
Well, Easter, they won't pay, so that day is really not.
Right.
Right,
Because we're not open on Sundays.
exactly, so this, it's a weird thing because you, what,
It's in there, it says because in case we institute it,
Right, we institute Sunday nights.
so,
which we don't have, yeah.
Right.
right,
Just not
so it
planned.
potentially, that's an added holiday too.
Said 11 holidays.
I'm looking at the federal holidays and
This
comparing,
this is 12. It's listed
because we've added the day after,
Thanksgiving, sure.
Right, yep.
so we can compare all of it if we want to.
Oh, and I see Easter's an if.
Mhm, mhm.
So I'm gonna make the motion that the board approve the 2026 schedule of service with the listed dates of closures. Do I have a second?
Do we have
Discussion?
discussion? You know, I was concerned when we closed on Martin Luther King Day. And now we're also closing on Juneteenth, which is a holiday in celebration of a particular group of people. I'm I'm uncomfortable with not having programs recognizing those holidays.
When we still could have programs recognizing the holidays would be on that date.
Just not on that date.
I think many would argue, for instance, Black History Month isn't just reduced to that month.
Or
to
that
just
one day.
or
A
to,
particular group of people.
yes.
As I say, I was uncomfortable when we closed down Martin Luther King Day saying, oh, well, people can just go elsewhere for the activities. And now I'm uncomfortable because we're adding yet another holiday that's geared toward a similar group of people.
We feel the same way about the Independence Day.
Any of the other holidays, I would say.
Are they is focused on a particular group?
I mean, yes, Christian
Christmas.
groups for sure.
Thanksgiving,
Groups of Christian.
I want to argue
That's the
that
Jew here.
this is,
Easter.
these dates are not about, I understand your desire for for our community, programs for the community. This has to do with the staff and the number of, thank
Yes.
you.
Okay.
The number of folks who are going to call out. We will not have a library that is operational. If we do not offer certain days, because you will have too many folks that are requesting it as time off or taking it, regardless of whether we offer it. And so there are certain days where folks consider that, right? Is this a day that is a holiday that I'm going to be traveling on, a day that I'm observing something or other? So that's why it came up in the union negotiation, because it is considered a benefit to the employees. It's not just about programming to the community. So I hear what you're saying, but most folks are not going to observe President's Day and be on holiday with their family for it. They will be on holiday and gathering for Juneteenth or Independence Day or Easter. So that's what I would note, is this has to do with our staff and taking care of their time off more than service to the community with programming, which can still happen, as you've already noted,
Around the day.
any other time.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Then I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Okay.
All those opposed? Do we need to like verbalize that, Ashley, or do you have it?
Oh, I have it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Unless you want me to.
I just don't know when we went back to that.
Wait, who seconded? I don't have it, sorry. When-
I said,
You did, yes, I have that, now I have everything, thank you so much.
So the next on the agenda hopefully is new hires.
I'm gonna have to locate. Okay. It's just,
Yes, it's in
it's
the,
loading so tiny.
yes.
So the, Personnel Committee would like to, are we recommending?
Recommending the acknowledgement.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Recommending, the Personnel Committee would like to recommend the acknowledgement of the hiring of Desiree Drill. And, Annie, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna not do this well. I can't actually read that, tennis, for library assistant positions. And, hopefully I did their names well. I should have asked for that pronunciation ahead of time. Okay, do I have a second?
Second,
Second.
Thank you.
Cecilia, second. All those in favor?
Okay.
Can those be sent to me, please?
Yes.
They're also on,
There is-
they're right here, they're right here.
Yeah, you're the only one that has a visible screen.
Desiree Drew, okay, and I think Tim also didn't know how to say that, so.
And our
Can you
screens,
not zoom though?
we can't, I don't know what's happening.
Right here, sorry, Desiree Drew.
So, the
In
next item on the agenda is the ground rules. Then I would say Rhea or Ashley, if you wanna. Yeah, so
The admin committee would like to recommend the review. Wait, are we recommending this for a vote or just? Yeah,
we can vote on it. I think it's good. It doesn't hurt to vote.
So page 45 are the ground rules. Ashley, do you want me to recommend them? Do folks want to take a look at them? Let us know if you have any questions. This would be incorporated into the code of conduct for the board, which is still in development and will need more time. But this is the synthesis of everything that we did during the retreat as a board. With a little expansion and definition where needed for something like step forward, step back, or
And also because the original document had so many redundancies, we removed those redundancies.
and thank you, Ashley, for taking on that initially.
So I'll make a motion that we accept these ground rules as for future meetings. Do I have a second?
I had
Discussion?
emailed some comments.
About the conduct or the ground rules?
About the ground rules. I thought, they were really very good. But I had a couple of comments and I just wondered whether they were received, and
Sorry, did you put them in the document or did you put them over email?
I replied in an email.
Do you want to share them really fast? Out loud? Or
I-
we have to,
I
Let me
don't
pull it.
remember them.
I feel like it's
I
an
want-
older version
Okay.
than we would have.
okay, should the subject be? Me,
And I thought the subject, or the title or whatever was unclear.
ground rules for meetings or trustee conduct.
Yes, that was my one comment as well. Proposed ground rules for whom or for what. I think
Okay.
it'd be good to add that.
It should be conduct. Because it's
Proposed
going,
ground rules for conduct of the board of the Troy Public Library. Maybe just made a little more explicit.
on the titling.
Yeah.
So it'll be incorporated as a subsection of the board code of conduct. So we'll incorporate that as a subsection with that title. But then Ashley, you saw this as a standalone document that is linked to from meetings also referenced, right?
Yes, if we're committing to this as a full board, then everyone's committees should also, these should live within those committees as well, so that we are conducting our meetings in the same fashion.
Sure. Boards and committees.
So update title.
Mhm.
Does anyone have a concern or are we okay?
And should you envision this as something like we have printed out and have available, or?
I think it's a good idea just to, I mean, whoever wants to get the laminator out. Just to
Yeah.
have it on
Okay.
one or two, whatever, that's fine. And then within, your agendas, or how we started working in the mission statement, like I think that's a good idea, stuff like that, keep it simple, nothing crazy.
Yes.
Laminate. Thank you. So you'll laminate, I'll update title.
Then do you have worries on this?
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Well, the others are.
I think there was a second comment, right, about
The president is the spokesperson for the board unless someone is authorized to speak on behalf of the board. But the individual board members converse all the time with the public about the library. As a trustee, they should convey the board position, not their personal opinion. There's a difference there. So I think the language here,
Which paragraph is that?
7,
Yeah.
ground rule 7, yeah.
which ironically is the one that we spent the most amount of time on. So,
and there may be a better way to word it, but it's not.
but here's what we'll say. You just voted no to something. That's public record, right? It's on public record that you voted no. And to say that you don't have a personal opinion to support that vote would be odd because it's of public record that you were opposed to it. Do you support the decision because we all decided to move that forward? Yes, we have to, as a board, support that. But we can't tell you that you're not allowed to talk to someone about why you voted no, right? It would be very odd. We can't tell you to not have an opinion. There's an opinion and a reason you voted on something.
And I understand that, but
Yeah.
what I was trying to address is that it's not just the president that speaks to people. It's all of us. And
Trustees can share personal views and community perspectives, but should not speak for the board unless authorized to do so. So we speak for ourselves, we do not speak for the body unless you're authorized to
Well,
do so.
but no, but as a trustee, when you talk to people, you also speak for the board. Yes, when you're saying, hey, the board.
Discuss this or.
Well, yeah.
Oh, you mean on things that are just fact? I
Yeah.
think
On positions that the board has taken.
Yeah.
You can, you are expected to express what the board's position was, even if you didn't personally vote in favor of that.
I think there's some language in the trustees handbook about when you're speaking as a board member, you're speaking into the public, to the general public, that one shouldn't be speaking out there to undermine decisions that have been made by the board. So it's a fine line. You do want to be able to say, yes, I do have opinions on the topic. But I think one of the examples was like, one shouldn't be saying, well, the board said this here, but I didn't vote for that. That would be seen as being not supportive and constructive to a board decision. And I think that, I think it's in the trustee handbook someplace. There's some language that talks about that.
We balanced what is in the handbook, and we did have a version that was about 2 paragraphs of very explicit language. And at that point, you're getting into really like.
What about repeating the language from the trustee handbook?
We can, so this does incorporate that. Yeah, go for it.
Again, we're talking about the difference between a rule and a norm.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the other piece of this is like, we need to be very clear about what actual rules are versus like what the social expectation that we have of one another is.
I think that, I think the trustees manual is actually not a social expectation. I think it's a fiduciary responsibility.
I don't know that it's a fiduciary responsibility if I walked out the door and said I actually didn't agree with my board members. I don't think that's a fiduciary responsibility.
I'm sorry, I don't have the exact language in the trustee manual here.
Well, and I thought too that we were taking, like, part of what we were doing, or at least last time, my understanding is that we were in, what felt like mostly agreement based on what the Kingston Code of Conduct said with regard to this piece. And so part of it was taken from that, which also is illustrated in the Code of Conduct itself. And this is just a more condensed version of that, but has the same sentiment to it.
And so it says that trustees should support board decisions even if you disagree. Which you can support the decision, but that doesn't, to your point, that doesn't mean you never discuss it.
I agree, I agree. And by the way, there's some other perspectives on it that could include this, that, or that. So when one reads this description here in number 7, it leads with that. It
Right.
leads with, oh, everyone can speak their personal opinions.
Flip it.
It might be that it's your responsibility to support board decisions, but then you can also then speak to why other perspectives on the topic.
Yeah.
What does it mean to support a decision?
Yes. And I can imagine that you did spend a lot of time looking at this and teasing this out here, so I apologize for,
I can pull the history of it.
I can imagine it hasn't been easy, hasn't been easy.
You know, on the whole, it's very, very well done. But I was just trying to make the point, it's not only the president who can talk to.
This doesn't say
Public.
about the president.
Yes.
No, I think I added that,
Okay, so it sounds like it's been incorporated.
but that, you know, that it's not just the president who, for instance, we all spoke to the public about the budget. We all spoke, you know, about various positions that the board has taken, that people expect that of us. And I just didn't feel it was recognized that the rest of the board talks to people as well. So that's what I was trying to get at.
I guess one thing is talk to the public in general, and others talk to the public at a press conference or.
Right,
Right,
media. I was
exactly.
wondering if that was
Yeah.
also the
Right.
differentiation that was trying to be made. I don't know, but.
In the handbook that I can. That's right. So how would you like to proceed?
So I think you're getting into this strange nuance of something that almost requires examples.
Maybe just add a preamble that says, within the bounds of the, trustee handbook guidance on board commentary on board decisions, and then go into that. And sorry, I'm wordsmith. I think this is, I like the sentiment a lot. I think you're in the right ballpark. Perhaps it's possible. I mean, it's not a hill I would stand and die on, so I'm not going to stand in the way of progress in this here, so. I'm just sharing my 2 cents in our conversation.
So I'm so sorry. What would you add? Just so I'm clear.
Perhaps add a sentence at the beginning that says, board representatives should speak to the public about board decisions within the guidelines recommended by the trustee handbook, the UHLS trustee handbook. Period. And then go on to add the language that's already here. And that's, again, just like,
So what we originally had was board members may speak publicly on library issues as individuals, but such statements do not represent official board policy. When engaging with the public, partners, staff, trustees are encouraged to share factual, transparent information consistent with the library's values and the board's decision as a whole, while deferring to the board chair or director for official statements. Trustees may respectfully disagree in deliberation, but once a decision is made, they are expected to support and communicate it as a unified board position. That's tough because this is one of those moments where, Ashley, you're going to say that's not necessarily what actually is in the handbook or what is meant by that. So you're getting into this, I mean, that's how strict that was when we originally, like, we had a couple different back and forths and we're like, ugh, that's not really what the handbook says. And so I think we have to dig into this more and do some due diligence because I don't think we're clear, and this may need to go to UHLS and get some additional guidance.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I would be curious on how they feel then about Kingston's number 3. Members of the board are free to speak to individuals on library issues outside of board meetings, but such public expression is not to be construed as board policy. Information from executive sessions must remain confidential at all times unless release is appropriately authorized. The board will not be bound in any way by any individual statement or action unless the board, through an adoption of policy or by a majority vote of board membership, has delegated this authority to the individual member.
Right, and
That feels more legalistic than what is listed, no offense to Upper Hudson. And I just like, if we want to give like a very significant example, and this is purely hypothetical, if the majority of you were to vote for something that was in direct contrast, which you have the ability to do, that is against our mission or is against what I think many people in Troy are asking for or wanted or whatever, it would be very, very difficult for me to remain in line as a supporter of that, having voted not only against it, but seeing it as wrong. And we have seen library boards locally make significant mistakes that hurt the public. And so part of when I'm looking at this is a piece of that I'm very concerned with. So that's my 2 cents.
I think it starts to get into some social media and communications policy work that needs to be done also, where if we have separate accounts or people speaking at different events or to groups, we talked about how most of those accounts tend to have something that says not an official representative, right? Or the views expressed are my own.
Yep.
So if that's good enough for federal government or corporate or the city,
The school district.
right, how are we unique in that? And no, you can't say anything otherwise. And I don't think anyone's looking to go around saying counter, but this is one of those moments where we need to be very, very careful, yeah, about that language.
Yeah, and I'm worried that the language looks as though we are only accountable and to be in like both quiet and public agreement with one another. And there is, what is absent there is our accountability to the people who elected us. And that's what I'm concerned with.
Well, and I'm also gonna call out, I don't know if it's devil's advocate. I can look at almost every single one of you and tell you that you haven't, none of us has been in total agreement on all decisions and only talked in that way. So if we're going to say that, it's a lie, because not a single person in this room has been able to do that, and be only supportive of one decision in all conversations with the public. It's not happening. So we need to be very, very careful about that language, because none of us has been able to actually in practice abide by that, because it's unreasonable. You're going to talk to your family, you're going to talk to your friends. Yeah. Is that valid? Yeah.
So next step, should we
Yeah, that's
table?
what I'm saying. So is it, do we table it or do we take a vote?
Or would we pull that one clause out and table that one clause?
I think we need to refine the language a little bit in there. I think it can still be, I agree with the order and the referencing of the handbook. I would like it to maybe go up to the handbook. Do we feel? Or no? I feel like.
Well, I think we have to, in order to
Yeah.
find the handbook and what exactly, I've been searching it
Yeah.
online and it's very hard to search online. I haven't been able to find it, so.
Got 3 minutes left.
Question is, what are we looking for within it?
Right, well, I found the handbook, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
But I couldn't find where it talks about how, and I know it does speak to it.
So I've got it, duties and responsibilities.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's where I am, but I didn't see
so
it.
look for the word personal. Oh, weird. Um. Okay, we need to table this, so
Okay.
it's,
Yeah.
Okay, so it was there, but it's not loading on page, which is confusing, so I need to go look at like archive.org or something else.
You want to table the whole thing or just one paragraph?
What can we do?
I mean, we can do which, we can do either, but I mean, it seems, why don't we just take,
I mean, it's one page, yeah.
yeah,
Let's just
why don't we
table the whole
just
thing.
table the whole thing and then. But I
I
understand
don't want
what
to
you're
throw
saying.
roadblock up to this entire process. I think you've made great progress
Yes.
with this. And I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
But we can't really move forward to like laminating it.
No.
and-
Until we get.
I-
Understood.
it doesn't seem like anyone feels that this is like clear enough or speaking to what we actually think, so
Yeah. Let's work on it a little more.
do the extra work, yep.
Thank you.
So we'll table, thank you, yes, and I think it's.
Oh, I did it again.
It possibly, like, one of the other things I just want to ask about, and this is like, oh my God, getting us to a place of like productivity that's important to me is, if we are to go back to the drawing board on this and do the work, are we able to get some feedback in between so that we can actually like introduce something that will actually go at one way or the other?
Right, right.
Okay.
Yes. So yes, if you make changes and share the document, everybody has a responsibility to look at it before the next meeting, so, and bring up any questions you may have about it prior to that meeting, so we can move forward with it.
That would be so helpful.
30 seconds.
So we're tabling this,
Table.
and then, now I've lost. What's next? on
I'm
the
sorry.
agenda?
Bylaws amendment, 10 minutes, first
Okay.
reading.
We probably do. So the bylaws are the last thing,
There's a section in there, yeah, which unfortunately is, I think, tied to conduct, so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is just the vehicle for how we would handle the removal of a trustee in the event of a attendance concern or for cause, right?
Mhm.
And sorry, my screen is so small. So in accordance with the New York State Education Law, section 226.4 and 226.8. Oh my goodness, thank you. Any trustee who fails to attend 3 consecutive board meetings without an excuse accepted as satisfactory by the board shall be deemed to have resigned. The resulting vacancy shall be filled in accordance with these bylaws. Section 2, for cause, a trustee may be removed or suspended from office by 2/3 vote of the entire board upon due proof of the truth of a written complaint by any trustee alleging misconduct, incapacity, or neglect of duty. Within that, the next section 1 is at least 1 week's written notice of the proposed action shall be provided to the accused trustee and to each member of the board before such vote. Section 2, the board may, bullet 2, may designate a committee to review or investigate the complaint and present findings prior to the vote. However, the decision to remove must be made by the full board, which I think Marie might address your question that you had. 3, the trustee subject to removal or disciplinary action shall not participate in the discussion or vote regarding their own removal and shall not be counted toward quorum for that specific action. And then section B, removal of officers. Officers may be removed also by a 2/3 vote of the entire board for cause or failure to perform the duties of their office. Removal of an officer does not affect their status as a trustee unless otherwise determined by the board under subsection A. So controls, yes.
so that is our first reading of this. You have the month, before the next month, we will take a vote on the amendment to the bylaws. So you have the month to look it over, ask any questions. Bring forth any discussion that you want. Does that sound okay? Path forward, sorry. Next, new business or old business? So there, I have some old business, that I just want to remind people about the trustee education requirement. Everybody has to do, which we all do know that everybody has already done their 2 hours because we all did the retreat, which was 3 hours plus. You do have to do the sexual harassment prevention training. So I thought the best way to handle this as far as reporting, because yes, it's all great that we all did that and we all said we did it and whatever, but I think we have to have documentation, because if they were ever to come in and audit us, we need that documentation. So I thought I would create a trustee education drive within our Google. And then within that, a folder for each trustee, which only you and myself would have, or you and the president would have access to. And then you can upload your certificates, either your certificate that you have or your self-reporting. And I will create a document in there that has a self-reporting form, a link to the self-reporting form, and also a link to the New York State Sexual Harassment Prevention Training module, that if you don't do it at your work and you don't have the certificate for it, you can complete it and upload it there.
Does Upper Hudson provide certificates, or is it all on that self-reporting
I
form?
think it's also self-reporting. I was gonna I was gonna email Chris about that, whether or not they provide
For
a,
ones that they
right, for the
host?
ones because we'll have the long range planning plus the retreat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, totally.
Plus, I don't remember when we did the mission statement and the finance 101.
And then
That could have been this past
onboarding
year.
for new trustees, that's another hour or two, whatever.
Right, and then we working with them about getting core training for Samantha.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Before the end of the year, because the next one is, of course, our December meeting. So we can't attend.
Class.
I don't remember who reports, whether it's those trustees that are there at the end of the year.
I asked that questions. It's all of, they're gonna ask the question on the state report to have I asked Chris that, whether the new people had to have the two, and he said the question is just a yes or no. Have your trustees had? And so he said it's best to have everybody have it, the old and the new.
I think it specifies in the document.
I can
could-
check with
I
Chris
could look it
again.
up. Well, I can look it up in the document
Sure,
and see what the state,
but that was, I did ask for Hudson, and that was.
but it might be difficult for the new.
They will have it,
People
because
to have
they're
the
gonna
time.
have the hour and a half of the long range planning, and then I've set up for them to get the
Okay.
core, so they'll have it.
And when's it being submitted? And so, as an old trustee, make sure, I understand whether it's documentation that I need to dig up and find, or
Yes.
All right, I'll check and let you know. So I'll look it up tomorrow. Look up the document
thank you.
for the survey or whatever it is, the ASR.
I got it. Just have to dig it up.
And we all, like I said, we all have it. But I know they said the state has been doing some auditing, so I would hate for us to. So I'm prepared. And then the only other thing I had is that I never moved anything forward with the trustee social night out. I don't know. And how people feel about that and what they want to do, and, you know,
We're entering a very busy series.
I know, we're getting into the holidays, but you hate to have people go off the board without some kind of. Little gap. I guess I can put some dates out there on the
Yeah.
Google poll and then go from there. And are we saying just board members and family? I mean, I don't care.
Would it be possible to, like, not that it's like the most fun thing ever, but like to tack it on to like after a meeting, like after the first meeting, for those who want to,
Like
like
going to the ale house.
meeting, you said it, I didn't.
I know.
Yes.
I've been staying away from saying the ale house just because I don't wanna
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding, but yeah, whatever place that we want to suggest or options or whatever.
yeah, after the November meeting.
Yeah, that feels easy.
That would be great.
Okay.
That's because it would have old and new.
Yeah,
We can go.
it's the last. It's the last.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll have to
that's a
agree with that.
controversial suggestion.
All right, anybody else, any old or new business you wanna bring up? Community feedback? Community feedback. I like I had some, and I totally lost it.
Me too.
It was a quiet month for community feedback.
really?
After the
vote, yes.
Excluding.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say if you exclude that.
Yeah.
But I talked to a lot of people about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I did have someone I had lunch with today who, did previously run for a very large city council seat and, noted that many, regardless of party or view, did not turn out for the vote because they still assumed that it would pass and didn't have a strong feeling against. and felt that even though there was a large opposition that was organized, it was reflective of the true values of the city, and that many just didn't want to, just assumed that our city would do what was right. And basically was saying it was still hard to maybe engage people for the vote because they still believe that Troy will always pass our budget. And I don't know, it was worth hearing, and I thought it was very interesting because if you were to think in terms of party divide and where certain parties would fall, this person does not represent the party that would typically be funding a library. And they said, no, a lot of people in our party didn't turn out for a reason because they really do support the library and want to see it move forward. And I just thought that was really nice to hear.
Anybody else?
Feedback from some parents who have been attending programming with their children at the Y. So it was good to hear Carol's report because from the other side, it sounds like it's going very well. So. But they didn't mention anything about the water in the bathroom, so I don't know anything about that.
Oh, I also heard that the Friends is doing a 4-person bill of the youth book seller.
It may not be a 4-person there, it is drifting.
Oh.
We put out a call for volunteers to sort and disperse of all the children's book donations that the library gets. And that was done by Phil Brzee, who has moved, is vice president of the Friends and has moved, so,
You're trying to get rid of them? I'm sorry.
yes.
I have a red bookshelf, will probably take them.
Yeah.
Can you send me an email?
And then the person you need to get in touch with is Judy Meyer, who's now coordinating it. And I
I'll
can
email Judy. I know Judy.
Yeah. One of the things that happened was that persons unknown took the books that came from the Taylor School. We have all these books. When Taylor School
Yeah.
closed, for want of a better word, glut of books came to the library, came to the bookseller. And so we're working with free libraries, we're working with Sidewalk Warriors has been interested in the books. The free libraries, Sidewalk Warriors, there's some, the Red Door doesn't take, is it Red Door?
They definitely do. I work with them. And not only will they take them, they'll clean them up and we'll redistribute them.
Because we
And the
heard
same
something
thing-
different, so you
I'll
getting in.
just let me.
Yeah, that would be
totally.
great.
And then the thing too is that they also work then with the like feed and read program too, and so.
That'd be great.
So just email Judy,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No
'cause
problem.
it's, yeah. And after that, they would go to the book warehouse, which may or may not be recycling books. The book warehouse has a branch, it has a bin in, at the Manans Library. Yeah, so we have an enormous amount of children's books. And so, yeah, so we've been talking to a bunch of people about free libraries and so if you know of sources for them,
Yeah.
that would be super.
Okay, any other community feedback? Any public comment?
Fine.
No? Yeah, nothing? All right, then, it is 6:44 and I make a motion to adjourn. Well, do I say the next meeting first?
Sure.
Yeah.
The next meeting will be on Tuesday, November 11th at 5:30. And I make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Guess what? Hey, it's actually not as late as we thought, but it is dark.
No, yeah, I know, as it was getting dark, I was thinking. Oh, it is. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for a lot that you're doing.
To the beginning. It's my understanding, I'll double check it. So you come for the beginning, and me install the people. Yeah.
They want to know what.
When are these supposed to-
I don't know.
That was my question.